They're not much help if you ask me. Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon.
NewEnglandSubaru.com, America's lowest priced all-wheel drive vehicles. Stay tuned for New England Business Day, next on NECN.
A midweek mix for the markets. The Dow gains 12, but Cisco drags down the tech stocks. The NASDAQ drops 14, almost 15 points this Wednesday, February 27th.
Now, from Wall Street to State Street, the final word on New England business. This is New England Business Day.
Greenspan speaks. The Fed chair gives his forecast for the U.S. economy. A subdued recovery is at hand.
Airport security. Massport officials testify on Capitol Hill as federal authorities make a sweep of Logan workers.
And we'll introduce you to a top-ranked realtor from Andover, Massachusetts, selling hundreds of homes and turning a nice little profit. Good evening. Welcome to New England Business Day. I'm Shannon Ogden.
I'm R.D. Saul.
And I'm Amanda Rossiter. We begin tonight with Fed Chair Alan Greenspan's outlook for the U.S. economy. The money maestro told Congress today he sees signs that the country's first recession in a decade is coming to a close. Greenspan and the central bank predict the economy will grow between 2.5% and 3% this year, and any recovery will be subdued. But he said that's not a bad thing.
Even a subdued recovery beginning soon would constitute a truly remarkable performance for the American economy in the face of so severe a decline in equity asset values and an unprecedented blow from terrorists to the foundations of our market systems.
And backing up Greenspan's claims today, some positive figures on manufacturing. The Commerce Department reports durable goods orders rose 2.6% in January. That's a sign the manufacturing sector is headed toward recovery.
Now, the stock wrap on New England Business Day.
A cheer went out on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange following Greenspan's statements this morning, but investors could not keep that rally going. Let's take a look at the numbers. The Dow Jones Industrials, as you can see, up just more than 12 points at 10,127. The NASDAQ, though, dragged down by Cisco, down almost 15 points to close just under 1751. Web stocks now, the Street.com Internet Index off a fraction at 141. Small caps today, the Russell 2000 gained about a point to close at 472. Large caps pick up half a point, close at 1109. Regional stocks now, the Bloomberg New England Index posted a gain almost a point, just short of 264. The New England Tech Stock Index fell a fraction of a percent to close at 54.54. Tonight's movers around New England are on the winning side. Ipswich Bank shares. Shares rose 52% today after Bank North announced it would acquire Ipswich. Shares closed up $6.95 a share at 2020. On the downside, Tweeter Home Entertainment. Shares in the Massachusetts electronic retailer down 22% on some disappointing earnings news today. Tweeter stock ends the day down 502 at 1705. Let's bring in our market analyst, Mark Mills, from Business Radio 1060 in Boston. Hello, Mark.
Evening, Shannon.
Some positive comments from Greenspan today, but apparently not positive enough, at least for traders.
Well,
today.
It didn't hold up all day. It was a nice little pop with Greenspan's comments today that we are having a recovery, though it may be a subdued one, that inflation will remain low, and the markets liked it. And at one point, the Dow was up 140 points, the NASDAQ was up 27. But by mid-afternoon, all the major indices were down in negative territory. And finally, at the close, the Dow did manage to finish positive. The NASDAQ was down a little bit, and the S&P just barely budged into positive territory. The bond market rallied today on the aspect of Greenspan's comments that interest rates will probably, or that inflation will remain low. That means they will not be in any hurry to raise rates at the Federal Reserve. Low interest rates are what the bond market likes to hear.
Now, on the tech side, as we mentioned, Cisco was weighing heavily on the minds of investors. We had a profit forecast cut for them.
Yeah, Wachovia Securities had an analyst that said the outlook for Cisco this year and next is not as good as people have been expecting. And as a result, Cisco was hit pretty hard, down about 8%. Juniper Networks, one of their rivals, was off more than 6%. The networking index on the American Stock Exchange was down almost 3%. So that area was hit pretty hard, and that weighed heavily on the tech side, and the NASDAQ couldn't overcome that setback.
Mixed economic data out today, and something that has been a consistent bright spot for us ever since 9/11, new home sales. Some disappointing numbers there in January.
Probably an aberration on this number. New home sales, and these would be newly constructed. We just did the existing home sales earlier, and they were very strong. The new home sales dropped off almost 15% in January compared to December. But economists did not put this in as a serious threat. The housing market is still very strong. Maybe this number is a bit of an aberration. December's numbers may have been stronger than usual, and then when you compare January to it, it looks weaker. So overall, not too bad there. And of course, the durable goods orders that we heard about were very good, coming in well above expectations, and that's another plus for the manufacturing area.
Okay, Mark Mills is Business Radio 1060. Thanks very much.
See you tomorrow.
On Thursday.
Around the region tonight, 20 workers at Logan Airport, 6 of them security workers, are charged with using fake documents to get their jobs or security badges. All of the workers are foreign nationals. 6 worked for Argenbright Security. They're charged with providing false information, including fake social security numbers or alien registration cards. 15 of them face charges of being in the U.S. illegally. The U.S. attorney emphasizes there is no evidence that any of these people were involved in terrorism. Security at Logan was also the topic on Capitol Hill today. Massport Aviation Director Thomas Kinton and security consultant Rafi Ron testified before the House panel on aviation. They told members of Congress some passenger profiling is necessary because there just isn't enough equipment or time to check every passenger and every bag.
I think it's time that the Transportation Security Administration developed a meaningful system which is not inappropriate in terms of people's constitutional rights, but is effective.
Organizations like the American Civil Liberties Union criticize profiling, saying it violates privacy and is not worth the increased security. Enronitis hits Enterasys. The New Hampshire-based switchmaker has fired 3 senior employees in its Asia-Pacific operations over accounting irregularities. The company would not name the workers. Enterasys delayed fourth-quarter results to review a $4 million order in Asia. The stock has fallen 57% this year. Today it was down about 4%, $3.63 a share. Tyco is closing one of its plants in New Jersey and could move some of the workers to New Hampshire. The conglomerate is shutting down its undersea telecom equipment factory because of slowing business. About 650 people will lose their jobs. 3 weeks ago, Tyco cut 1,000 jobs worldwide. Tyco stock closed up today 15 cents a share, $30.05. A changing of the guard at the Red Sox. John Harrington and the Yawkey Trust officially handed over ownership of the team to the group led by former Florida Marlins owner John Henry. The whole deal is worth $700 million. Also today, the Boston Globe quotes outgoing Sox CEO John Harrington as saying Cablevision chair Charles Dolan would have won the bidding war if his advisors had not leaked his offer. Coming up, the Enron investigation. Wall Street analysts tell Congress why they did not downgrade the stock, even as the energy trading giant plunged toward bankruptcy. Plus, the name game. The Houston Astros look for a new company to put its name on Enron Field.
You know, it's all part of the throwaway culture here in America. You know, it's what's hot right now. Get me this year's model. Get me this flavor of the week.
And musicians singing the blues. We'll look at recording contracts some artists say are unfairly binding them to record labels. New England Business Day will be right back.
As the record industry prepares to honor the artists and albums of the year with Grammys, we'll look at why record companies are singing the blues. Tonight at 8 on Newsnight on NECN.
Relax with Classical 102.5 WCRP.
See, it's cool. Come on, let's go.
With its patented four-wheel drive system, Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo is extremely capable.
Thanks.
but still as well-mannered as ever.
What a gentleman.
Only Jeep gives you our 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain pledge to keep you on the trail.
New England is Giant Country!
Who do you call when your windshield's busted?
Call Giant Glass. 1-800-54-GIANT. Done right, done fast.
Wherever you are.
Call number
1-800-54-GIANT. From Maine to Providence, Worcester to Cape Cod and the islands, the Big Blue Van will come to you with service as big as our name, Giant.
1-800-54-GIANT.
Where will you find the best deals on New England's hottest cars and trucks? Ask somebody, and they'll tell you it's Woburn Toyota with over 700 new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs available at one location. And right now, you can save up to $3,500 on America's most wanted Toyota, Camry. Huge savings on every new Toyota, plus financing as low as 2.9%. Ask somebody and they'll tell you where it's at. Woburn Toyota.
Fred C. Church has provided New Englanders with competitively priced insurance since 1865. Whatever your needs, Fred C. Church can help you find the solution, because at Fred C. Church, it's not just the policy, it's the people.
You're watching New England Business Day on NECN.
Polaroid, Malden Mills, CMGI, Enron, all companies that have been in the news of late because of their difficulties. The challenge is bringing back companies like that, revitalizing them. The Phoenix Effect is a new strategy outlined by turnaround specialist Carter Pate and Northeastern University finance professor Harlan Platt. Harlan Platt joins us this evening on New England Business Day. Thanks for coming by.
Hi, Artie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to have you here. Let's begin by getting to one of the key things points you make here, is that before you can fix the problem, you need to know what the problem is. And you talk about the point of pain. What do you mean?
Well, if you take a look at most companies today, they have a series of problems, and oftentimes the managers of the firm simply have not taken the time to understand what's gone wrong. Most of them have been trained in a world where things always go right. They've gone to business school where they're taught how to succeed. Very few people understand what you have to do when you fail.
And once you've identified that point of pain, once you've identified the problem, then you have to make a decision about whether you go for a tune-up, a turnaround, or crisis management. Delineate those. What's the difference there?
Well, I think the point that Carter and I make in the Phoenix Effect is that renewal, which is the effort that we try to do, applies to all companies. It applies to an Enron. In fact, Carter is one of the turnaround people doing Enron. He's also doing Kmart and Global Crossing. Those companies are in crisis, but the renewal effort also applies just as equally to a company like IBM or Microsoft, which are doing well. So renewal brings something to all companies.
But isn't there a problem here? Sometimes it's kind of difficult to figure out exactly what's wrong. After all, we had analysts, Wall Street analysts on Capitol Hill today saying, gee, we had no clue there was any problem with Enron.
Well, you know, Enron's a special case. And what makes Enron special is that there seems to have been the potential that the situation was primarily a fraud. And my colleagues at Northeastern in the accounting group tell me that fraud is one of the most difficult things to pick up beforehand. And I'm not going to suggest that other companies in America are committing frauds or that Enron committed a fraud. But if a firm is fraudulent and if they're trying to hide it, you're not going to uncover that by looking at a series of numbers in a financial table, because they're hiding it.
Do these strategies that you and your co-author talk about, are they useful to companies that have had to hunker down here in the recession, are now seeing some positive signals and want to ramp things up again?
Absolutely, RD. One of the things I do at Northeastern is I work with the Turnaround Management Association, which is a national group of 4,000 people who go in and fix companies. Some of the strategies in the Phoenix Effect are traditional turnaround management strategies, such as, let's take a look at your working capital. Let's see if you've got too much of your investment in inventories or receivables. Those are assets that companies just aren't moving. I think a point that we make in this book is that the whole solution is not to lay off people. All too often, the quick response of people who are untrained for renewal is to say, we have too many people.
It's the old problem of ready, fire, aim.
I think so. Our point is the people are the solution. That if you look at a company's products, its processes, its plants, and then its people, inevitably what you're going to do is make changes that will reduce the workforce. But you don't do that first.
Right. Well, 9 revitalizing strategies no business can do without. It's the subtitle to a new book, The Phoenix Effect. It's out tomorrow. Co-author Harlan Platt of Northeastern University. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you so much.
Now to the latest in the Enron investigation. Wall Street analysts told a Senate panel today they were not pressured to maintain buy recommendations on Enron stock, even as the energy giant slid toward bankruptcy. 11 of the 16 analysts who followed Enron were still rating it a buy or a strong buy as late as November. And today some of those analysts testified they just didn't see Enron's bankruptcy coming.
Had somebody been clairvoyant, had we had seen through some of these charades and some of these financials, nothing would have been more impactful or valuable for the analyst to have called that ahead of everyone else.
Meantime, today's Wall Street Journal reports that 2 key figures in the Enron collapse are seeking an immunity deal with prosecutors. David Duncan, the chief auditor in the Enron case, who was fired by Arthur Andersen last month, and former Enron treasurer Ben Gleason are being considered as potential witnesses. But no agreement has been made so far with the Justice Department. And the Houston Astros are changing the name of Enron Field. The team will pay Enron $2.1 million to buy back the naming rights of the ballpark. It will be called Astros Field until a new sponsor can be found for it. At least 7 companies have already approached the Astros about taking over those naming rights. The Baby Bell telephone companies have passed a key hurdle to selling internet service nationwide. The U.S. House of Representatives passed a bill that would allow the Baby Bell's 4 regional phone giants, Qwest, Verizon, SBC, and Bell South, to sell internet service without opening their networks to competition. Opponents of the bill say it will allow the Bell companies the same control they currently have in local phone service. That bill now heads to the Senate, where its fate is uncertain. And it's more colored ketchup from Heinz. The folks who brought you purple and green ketchup are introducing some new colors now. Heinz is rolling out a limited supply of pink, orange, and teal ketchup. The bottles are camouflaged, though, so you won't know which color you're actually buying. And Heinz is letting its customers decide which color will be added to its current palette. That's a look at tonight's national and international business briefs.
The music industry honors its own tonight at the Grammy Awards. And this year, the Grammys come amid some slumping record sales and a simmering controversy over artists' contracts. Some of the biggest names in music have joined forces in support of a proposed law in California that would free musicians from contracts that bind them to record labels, in some cases for decades. Pablo Pereira explains.
We got no beef with those people.
Don Henley and other performers recently formed the Recording Artists Coalition. The group is supporting a bill before the state legislature that would repeal part of the labor code tying singers to long recording contracts.
The problem with that is, if it were only 7 years, that might not be such a bad thing. But the way the system is structured, an artist can be tied up for an entire career, for as long as 30 or 35 years under a 7-album deal.
Currently, all workers in California except recording artists have the right to terminate their contracts after 7 years. But the Recording Industry Association of America opposes repeal of the law, saying it would further damage an industry already suffering from disappointing sales.
Small record companies, large record companies invest a lot of money in an artist's career, and I think everybody believes that it's not fair just to allow somebody to walk away.
Independent recording companies say allowing new artists to leave contracts early will cost them millions of dollars and put many out of business. But Henley says the simple solution is to limit the number of new artists.
You know, it's all part of the throwaway culture here in America. You know, it's what's hot right now. Get me this year's model. Get me this flavor of the week. You know, if they would stop doing the flavor of the week thing and try to find the flavor of the decade, then we'd all be in better shape.
That report from Pablo Pereira. We'll be right back with tonight's Woman to Watch. Don't go away.
The NECN Dunkin' Donuts Teacher of the Month. Nothing connects kids to learning like good teachers. That's why NECN and Dunkin' Donuts are honoring teachers who are making a difference in the classroom. To nominate your favorite teacher, log on to NECN.com. Sign up your teacher today.
Woburn Jaguar introduces the 2002 Jaguar X-Type. All-wheel drive, V6 power, leather interior, wood trim accents a true Jaguar. Starting at only $29,950, and for a limited time, 3.9% financing is available. For immediate delivery, call Woburn Jaguar at 800-649-0400 or visit Woburn Jaguar located at 394 Washington Street in Woburn. Woburn Jaguar is just minutes from Boston and close to everywhere at the intersections of 93 and 128.
Good morning. This is me. These are my stairs. That's my dog. This is my delicious cup of coffee. This is my lovely wife.
Turn that thing off.
And this is the love of my life. Oh, man.
Idiot.
Passionate about home theater? State Street discount. All you want.
And this is the doghouse.
Wake up with First Look. Non-stop weather, traffic, headlines, and more. Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on NECN, New England's 24-hour news station.
The future of your business starts with a download that's connected to a proposal, that's connected to an email, that's connected to a customer, that's connected to a sale. And who can you count on to connect them all? Verizon, for everything you need to work better online today and tomorrow.
So get started with Verizon Online Business DSL and a $99 rebate. Call 1-888-840-3802 and move your business ahead.
Verizon.
New England's watching the news at 9 on NECN.
The lowest price is always your price at Bob McDonough's Norwood Dodge, New England's low price leader for over 25 years. And right now, our President's Week celebration continues with a giant truck blowout. We must reduce our truck inventory, and that means the lowest prices in our history. Over 150 new Ram SLT Quad Cab 4x4 starting at $21,995 or $249 a month with zero down. Plus, commercial buyers get additional savings till February 28th at Bob McDonough's Norwood Dodge, Route 1 Norwood, the Auto Mile, New England's low price leader for over 25 years.
Now, women to watch on New England Business Day.
Fail often, fail fast, fail cheaply. That's the motto of a successful web design and development company called Aquent and one of its co-founders, Mia Wenjen. Mia is this week's Woman to Watch. Mia, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
First of all, you began it all in your Harvard dorm, and now you pitch your company Aquent as a new and very different kind of company for the new world of work. Will you explain what the new world of work is?
Sure. We actually are now a professional services organization. We specialize in IT and creative solutions, and that includes consulting, outsourcing, and staffing solutions. And we see this new world of work really as a response to how corporations can staff variably. So basically, independent professionals are consultants that that work independently for themselves, and what we try to do is support them. So we provide things like financial services, sort of a factoring service that we call Fast Cash, as well as insurance products and work solutions for them.
And in fact, you have 70 offices in 11 countries. Do you think that you would have been so successful if not for the changing climate of the corporate job these days?
I think our success is probably twofold. One is that we were, I think, quick to stay ahead of changes in technology. So we started as a Macintosh temporary agency when no one else was staffing for the Macintosh computer, and then we evolved into web design and creative services, and now we have IT services as well.
What do you see up next for Aquent?
Well, we see a professional services organization as something that really provides a unique value proposition for companies, in that we can provide the same sort of consulting solutions for companies, but at a really good value, because we don't have the same overhead structure.
So certainly you're dealing with a growing sector here with these independent professionals.
Absolutely.
Okay, Mia Wenjen, our woman to watch this week. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
RD?
Finally tonight, a super saleswoman. Realtor magazine recently ranked the top 100 salespeople in the country. In the top 10, Lillian Montalto, a realtor from Andover, Massachusetts. What's her secret to selling $170 million worth of property? Mont Fentel went to find out.
Walk into Lillian Montalto's signature properties and you feel like you're in an art gallery with striking paintings, sculptures, and antique furniture.
Buying a home is all emotions. If you're feeling special and you're feeling that you're dealing with successful people, I think it instills a confidence.
Clients can relax at the coffee bar and leave their children in a playroom complete with videos and Nintendo.
Typically, what most offices do is they bring out a basket of toys and put it on the floor in the